My book, Sailor on Ice, actually began in 1996. It's about an Antarctic explorer named Tom Crean. Reading about Captain Scott's attempt on the South Pole and Amundsen and Peary going to the North Pole. But reading about this stuff, I kind of started to center on the South Pole, and I realized that there's this one name, there's this one guy who is his name is Tom Crean. His name appears on the cover of my book because my books are about Tom Crean, a real figure, a real historical figure who was south toward the South Pole with Captain Scott, and later on in Shackleton's doomed expedition in the Endurance in 1914. This stuff, and I go, this guy Tom Crean, like, he's in the midst of this piece of this story, and this is so deadly, this is so interesting. How are these guys going to get out of this fix? And it's like, oh, Tom Crean is kind of the guy that gets them out. And then you read along and you read in someone else's book or another part, and you go like, oh, here's this thing that's amazingly difficult. Here's this guy Tom Crean over here. And then in another book, oh, here he is over here. And he always seems to be one of the three on whom everything depends. It's what makes a survivor. When you are, for instance, when Tom Crean was here 150 miles from the South Pole, and he was given orders to return because the rest of the party was going to go the rest of the distance of the South Pole and claim all the glory and all the fame and all that. And Tom Crean was a member of the last supporting party. So he got this close, and then it was turn around and go back. From here to here is 850 miles. This is all on foot. This is taking every single thing that you're going to need to survive, well, which includes the fuel to melt the snow, to have water to drink, and all of the food. And everything, your sleeping bag, your tents and everything, you're going to take that 850 miles. They reach a point where Lieutenant Evans, as the officer, because he knows he's dying, and they still have 150 miles to go. And these are his sailors, and he's the officer, and he orders them to leave him behind to save themselves. And they look at him and they say, no, Mr. Evans, we're all three of us in this together. We'll all get out of it together, or we won't get out at all. And this is where Tom Crean starts his lonely walk. He sets out two biscuits, 2 sticks of chocolate, and he goes on this walk. And he sets out, and halfway along the walk he stops for 5 minutes, but he realizes if he stops he'll never get in. He gets to the hut, bangs on the door, and there's actually 2 men there with dog teams. It wasn't known that anyone would be there. So he gets there, and what are you doing here? He tells him this story. Half hour after he arrived at the hut, the blizzard closed down. One faltering if he had walked more slowly. So this is the thing to keep in mind. It's always the thing to keep in mind. It's like one foot in front of the other.